98.9 Northwest FM. You're on CarTorque with Matty J. Welcome to the show. Time is now 7:02. I am joined in for tonight's show by Harley and Rob. How you going, guys?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, no. It's always good. Is this your first time on radio, guys?
Sure is. Yeah, pretty scary.
Pretty scary? Nothing to be worried about, guys. Nothing to be worried about at all. It's pretty simple stuff. It's not rocket science. So, you guys are obviously very big car guys.
Oh, I wouldn't say. Oh no, I think I've had my fair share of cars, but I think people might have had more.
According to your list, you just we'll talk about before off air. It just kept going. So
yeah, I had about 23 cars and possibly another 15 or 20 sort of parts cars over the years to sort of restore the cars that I've got and still run and own.
Yep. Yeah. So that's one of the topics we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about obviously restoring cars. So you guys are heaps into that, which is good. Keeping some old cars alive and even some newer cars that I've seen the wrong side of a hedge here or two.
Yeah, the problem is you start taking on too many projects. You never really finish one car at any time, but. Try keeping some of the nice cars that I've got on the road. A 65 Mustang, I've got an E30 BMW that we always work on and tinker with, a coupe.
Yep.
That's a nice little car to drive. And we also drive a 76 F100 around almost like a daily. And as well as actually lowering one at the moment, we're actually doing a full suspension lowering kit right through it and putting in a new V8. So
oh, nice.
It should be good.
So, like V8, we're talking like a Windsor,
it's a Windsor. It's out of a LTD. EL.
Oh, yeah.
EL LTD.
Yeah.
So the whole front end from the EL's going into the car, and we bought a front kit that fits straight into it. So It's a matter of getting it all welded in and engineered.
Yep. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So you'll tell me before you can buy the kit for that. You can drop it all straight in.
Well, it's not as straightforward as they tell you when you go and buy the kit.
Never is.
Me. They reckon you can do it in your driveway. Well, I don't believe so. I've had a lot of experience building cars, and it's a bit more to it than that. So, but it's a matter of taking your time, cutting away at the chassis without taking too much steel away, and then grafting on the front end from the L Falcon.
Yep.
It's going to be a nice car. It'll be almost like a Falcon to drive, but an F100.
F100, yeah, which is just super cool.
Yeah. So it's great.
So, Harley, you've had your fair share of cars as well?
Yeah. So, I'm into my Euros, so I love Euro cars. Had a 330 Ci.
Yeah.
Also, like the E30 318i coupe.
Yeah.
Also got currently a Brady C200. So
nice.
2015. Nice everyday driver. Good to go uni and stuff with.
Yeah, can't complain with that.
Yeah.
So like you're talking about the E30. E30s are really popular at the moment. They're starting to get noticed. Well, they've always been a super popular car, but I think people because they're easy to work on, and two, they're really good to drive.
Definitely, they're like driving a go-kart. They're fantastic to drive. I compare it to handling of a go-kart. Really, I don't even believe my WRX handles as good as the E30. I tell you, I mean that's a long call,
it's a big call,
but it handles that well. It's been lowered. It's got 18-inch wheels on it. It's got a real nice ride to it and rides well. Actually, the guy I bought it off, I bumped into him. I actually saw this guy and I said, wow, you got a nice car. Would you ever sell it? And he goes, oh, I have to ask my wife about it, but he ended up selling it to us. And he was actually building it to race it.
Right.
Yeah, other ones as well.
He's got several other cars that he's actually putting grafting in the roll cage and stripping it out for racing.
Oh right. So did he do any work to it at the stage?
Definitely
had suspension on that.
Yeah, more suspension work, and he started pulling out the boot mat and bits and pieces to lighten the car.
Yep.
But I ended up putting all that back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
keep it all original, I guess.
Definitely, yeah. I'll try to keep it original until maybe one day the motor might blow up, and we'll look at putting an E36 six-cylinder motor in it. or something down that line is to sort of spec it up a little bit.
I've seen a lot of people do the 328 conversion out of an E36.
Yeah.
And that's actually not a bad motor. Or if you could go for like something out of like if you can find it was an S50 or S52 out of the M3s. They're
that's true. And people are even putting Skyline conversions in it.
Oh right, there you go.
Yeah, so there's a fairly big market for them. Yeah,
a bit of RB action, I should say.
Yeah,
so that's always good. So you said you got a Mustang as well?
Yeah, we've got a 65 Mustang. It's a coupe. Basically, I was just telling Maddie before the show that the brakes were absolutely shocking on it. They when it got converted to a right-hand drive, they put XT front discs on it, and they were solid discs.
Yep.
But so basically, I removed the discs and put in an XF front end. Now I've got cross-drilled, slotted ventilated discs at the front with a dual pot reservoir and brake booster. So I've got a larger brake booster put into it. So now it actually stops. It's fantastic. You got I had the power, but it never stopped.
Yeah.
So now it does both.
So you just need to do one more thing, make it turn.
Oh well, that'd be nice. But I think putting a deposit on a new FM Mustang, a current model, and waiting 9 months for it, and hopefully I'll get it next month. That'll stop and handle and do all the things that it should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Bit of delayed gratification by Ford anyway.
Well, that's pretty exciting. A new Mustang on the way, but you have to remember the old Mustang. It's an old car, so you have to give credit where credit's due. They still drive. They're comfortable, and they.
Well, I don't know about comfortable and drive well. The steering's a bit spongy.
Bit woolly.
And because it's slower, the suspension's pretty stiff. So you can do a lot of work to them and upgrade a lot of things and make them ride and handle a lot better. But it just depends on how much money you want to throw at them.
Yep.
Yeah, you can throw a lot of money at these cars, definitely.
So it could be a money pit, and you just keep adding money and more money and more money.
Definitely.
Well, that's cars for you, though. But that's why we love them.
I'd be a rich man if I didn't spend money on my cars.
It takes a lot of people to say that. No, that's good. So obviously, exciting times. Got a new Mustang on the way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, very exciting. Can't wait for summer.
Yeah, well, that's it. So, and that's a coupe as well.
It is a coupe, yeah. So I ordered a white one, black roof. Hopefully, we'll sort of do it up a little bit and put the Verex
X-Force, exhaust on it.
Oh, yeah.
Exhaust on it and just get it sort of going. Yeah, so it should be fun.
Yeah, my next door neighbour actually had he's still got it. He's got an SS Commodore wagon, VE, and he put the Verex exhaust, and like you could turn it down, and like this thing was loud. It's cammed and everything. He'd come up the booze buster, just click the thing and turn it down, and just be quiet as anything, and just drive off. Yeah, it
should be good.
Yeah.
So I'd love to put a supercharger on it, but I won't go too radical.
You're saying it now, but then
you never know.
I think it's Herod and stuff are doing big work with them at the moment. So
they are, and it's all warranted as well.
Exactly.
So it's good stuff. Yeah.
Which is Ford's doing a lot of that actually, especially with the Focus and Fiestas, the mount tune stuff. And possibly the Focus RS, they'll get that mount tune stuff for it. So it's all warranted. They fit it right there at the factory for you, at the dealership for you. And it's if the car breaks, they'll still fix it, which is really good.
That is good, isn't it? Especially when they back their products, it's fantastic. No, it's very good.
It's good for the consumer as well. Like if they want to have their own touch on the car, which and it's and you can't really say it's not super duper original because Ford's warranting it, and saying we back this product. It's if it's enhancing it in a good way and Ford approves it or any car company approves it, it's always a benefit really.
Yeah, definitely. Look, and there's so many bolt-on bits and pieces you can put on it, and they do actually warranty a lot of the products, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, there's a few features that the car that we get in Australia, the features don't come as they do in America.
The line lock?
Yeah, the line lock. You're missing blind spot monitoring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, radar, cruise control, I believe.
No way.
So basically, there's a few items that are off our I suppose, desired wish list.
Well, that kind of makes no sense. I mean, like, even Commodores and stuff these days have blind spot monitoring and all that stuff, and yet it's a Mustang, and it's Ford's new sports car, sort of in Australia anyway, or it's the new world sports car, I guess, because they're bringing it all over the world.
Yeah, and it's very surprising that we don't get similar specifications in Australia as what they do in America. And so, talking about specifications and the different model lineups that they have, they've got the California specials over there, and various other sort of special makes with, you've got your bonnet scoops integrated into the car, which you don't get here, and just all these other little bits and pieces we just don't get.
And we also don't get one of my dream cars now, the GT350 with the Voodoo V8.
5.2
litre flat plane crank, just insane.
There's a lot of specs that we just won't or don't get. Hopefully, we will get somewhere down the line. I do know that there's that you can get the Shelby conversions done to your car here in Australia.
Okay, cool.
Mustang Motorsport do all that. So again, probably at a hefty price. But
yeah. If you got deep pockets, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I heard about they're potentially bringing the Raptor here as well. I've heard that as a potential. I'm not too sure if you guys have heard about that or.
No, I haven't heard anything. I know they do the imports, sort of the private imports now, and they convert them. But the Shelby, the new one's going to be all aluminium.
Right, yep.
We actually saw that new Shelby at SEMA when we were at SEMA in the US last year.
That's right, you were there last year.
It was absolutely fantastic. Brilliant cars. We had to walk through the Shelby Museum and had a look at all the Cobras that they're building and so on. So it's worthwhile seeing if you ever get to Las Vegas. Go to Shelby Museum. Yeah.
Is it a big place? Is the museum actually like a big?
The museum is only a small part of the factory where they actually convert your Mustangs into the Shelbys.
Yeah.
So, and they do the Cobras there as well. So they do. They actually assemble them. The bodies are done outside of their workshops, but they do assemble some of the parts there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. See, I didn't know that both parts were actually connected. I thought they were like two separate things.
No, it's all part of one big new plant. They used to be down at the Las Vegas Speedway, and they've moved closer into town. So it's worthwhile. Yeah. Like I said, if you're ever in Vegas, to go to Shelby Museum. Yeah.
And check it out. And it's also if you're there for SEMA, you got to go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. If you can get into SEMA, it's a pretty hard thing to get into. I won't go into that.
we know about it. Long story short.
Yeah. So, but look, there's so many things to do, and if you love your cars, definitely get over there and have a look around. We tried to get into the Peterson Motor Museum as well in LA, but that was closed for renovations. So. We'll have to go back next year.
Next year, that's it. And go to SEMA again.
Maybe go to SEMA again. And the other thing you need to do if you ever get out there is to go to the Las Vegas Speedway, and you can drive brand new Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Audi R8s around the Las Vegas Speedway.
Right.
So you get to do about 5 laps, and you can go as fast as you want to go. It's fantastic.
That's pretty cool. One of my mates was there. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. And he that's right, 98.9 Northwest FM. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. I'm still joined in the studio with Harley and Rob.
Hi there. How's it going again?
So we got cut off last time, just the last few minutes, but we're talking about in the States, and obviously renting cars there, and you can rent exotics, you can rent pretty much anything there.
Pretty much, yeah. So we're at the Las Vegas Speedway. I drove an Audi R8, and Harley drove a Lamborghini Huracan.
Oh, so how was that, Harley? Was that?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. A bit difficult, but once you get used to it, it's all right.
It'll be fun, yeah.
So a bit of father and son competition, actually. We'll see who got the best lap time. I won't say anything.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, we'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that? All right. Sounds good.
While we're up there, so we hired a brand new Mustang GT, and we drove that around through Vegas and sort of gave it a good a test drive to see what it was going to be like before we took delivery of ours.
Inverted commas test drive, right?
Drive, definitely inverted commas. Yes, it was a lot of fun. They're a real nice car to drive. So it's good.
In terms of like the Mustang to a Falcon, for example, what drives better? Because I've heard mixed things. I've heard the Mustangs are just insanely good, or I've heard that a Falcon drives nicer. And handles better as well.
Well, I've got both. I've got, my XR 650th anniversary turbo DFG.
Yep.
And It feels good, it drives well, and I think our cars are built well and engineered well, and I think a lot of, compared to looking at the underbody of a Mustang to the Falcon, the Mustang's all pressed metal componentry at the front end. The back end's really nice with the independent rear suspension, and I'd say it'd be a lot better than the Falcon.
Yep.
But it's sort of mixed. But Falcon wouldn't be too far off. If not, as good, I think. And like I said, I've driven both, and we'll see what it's like when we get our Australian delivered car, whether there is a big difference. I can then compare it like for like on our roads, where the roads are a little bit different in the US. There's a lot of concrete roads, and so you get a lot of that, the knocks on the roads.
Yep.
You can feel the road noise from the concrete and all the actual cracks on the road. So it's just a different feel, I suppose, driving in America than what driving a car here in Australia.
A bit of a different experience.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. No, well, that's interesting. Interesting you said that. So, like, you're going to have both soon, and you're going to be able to. You can just drive them back to back and just see.
Definitely.
Which would be pretty cool. What's quicker? Seeing you've because I know you have G's quick.
Yeah, they're pretty close, aren't they? Time-wise, I think they're around about the 5.1 second mark, 0 to 100. And they're pretty comparable at the moment, yeah. So, but you can get a hell of a lot of power out of both cars. So it just depends what you want to do. Yeah. So.
Well, having said that, so you've had obviously a lot of cars, as we were talking about before.
Definitely.
What's been your quickest car you've had? What's been your few favourite cars you've had? And tell the good people of the community that tell them your car list basically.
Sorry,
Tell them how much of a car guy you are by explaining your car list to the good people.
In the early days, I couldn't really afford cars, so I used to tinker with a lot of cars. But believe it or not, people, my first car was a Leyland P76. 4.4 V8, Leyland, mate. Say what you want.
No, they were good.
Great car. Rack and pinion steering, McPherson strut front end, basically Borg Warner, single rail, 4-speed behind it, and plenty of power out of it for a 4.4 litre V8. It was fantastic. It was a great car to drive, and I had many of those over the years. While I was driving my car down the road, people say, "Hey, mine's in the front yard. Do you want to take it?" So before I knew it, I had about 10 in my front yard.
Wow, there you go.
So I had plenty of spare parts for my car, which I didn't really need, to tell you the truth. I been to Queensland several times with it, Alice Springs.
All right.
The back roads through to Flinders Ranges. The only thing that went wrong with it, two things actually went wrong with it. The alternator, which I replaced with a Bosch one before I left, and also the thermostat, which was a brand new thermostat I bought before I left, and both of them packed in. That was the only thing that's gone wrong with my car over those years. So say what you want about P76s, but mine's been reliable. I don't know why or how, but it has been. After that, my dad and I sort of tinkered with cars like I do with my son now. We restored a couple of 116 Mercedes-Benz. We restored two 280 SEs. We had a 450 SEL, even a W126 380 SEL. To cut a long story short, my uncle gave it to us. Because he actually upgraded his Mercedes to something a bit newer, and we drove it for a little while, had fun with it, and we actually sold to a guy out in Gippsland area who's actually doing the
Variety Bash.
The Variety Bash.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
So it's called the Pink Panther, and I think that one's called the Black Panther.
Yeah.
Oh,
so they painted it black. It used to be green.
Yeah. And
they're driving around Australia now.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
So I've had quite a few Mercedes cars over the years, old ones, and we've sort of done them up back then. Even had a 74 LTD that I drove for a little while, and basically after it was pretty rough and rusted. So after I had my time with it, I actually stripped it all down and sold bits off it, and sold a 9-inch diff out of it, and sort of sold parts out of it. We've had all sorts of cars. Had a couple of cars that I had to buy for my wife and compromise on cars. I had to sell my WRX to buy her a Golf because she didn't like driving a manual around town.
No, not the Rex.
Yeah, I cried that day.
Yeah, no, I would have as well. You told me how much you love that. It was a Bug-Eye, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the Bug-Eye one. May not have been the most popular style, but it had some nice features in it. It was a real nice car to drive. It's the only car I can compare and get the same thrill out of as riding a motorcycle through the hills.
Well, there you go.
I've got a 1098 Ducati, and if you want to go fast, ride a motorbike.
Exactly right.
But the WRX through the corners, there's not many cars that will keep up with it. You know, you've got your Evos and a few other all-wheel drive cars, and you've got some of the new hot hatches now with the AMG Mercedes, what is it? The 45s. And a couple of other, the Golf R's and so on. But the Rex is fantastic. It really gives you adrenaline rush through the hills.
You just stick.
Yeah, it just sticks to the corners. The wife didn't like it too much when I take her, out to the country. But hold on. Hold on. Yeah, so we've had a couple of family wagons over the years with kids, dogs, and all that sort of stuff. And believe it or not, we're just sort of between some cars at the moment. We'd end up buying a Porsche Cayenne for a bargain at the auctions, and we're driving that around for the moment. But it's a good way of trying and experiencing different cars and buying second-hand cars. You don't have to buy brand new, and you can still get the same feeling in driving a prestige car. So it's good fun. And
it helps that you know what you're looking for as well. So
you're going to know what you want to.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think it was your wife sent me a message like, "We got a Porsche." I'm like what?
That was a surprise to me too. I put the one and only bid in it, and I won it, which was probably not the best thing, but anyway. Yeah, so you got to be careful when you're bidding. Make sure there's other bidders out there.
Have a look around the room. Don't put your head up first.
Definitely.
So out of all those cars you've just said, what's been your favourite?
Well, probably, the WRX, with a very, close first with my 50th anniversary XR6 Turbo. It's just been a fantastic car. It's just, basically, it's been trouble-free, to tell you the truth. Your diff bushes, play up
Falcon,
as we all know, being a Falcon. But other than that, it's been a great car. It's hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's a different sort of car. It's more, it doesn't handle as well through the corners, but straight line. It's fantastic and
quick,
and it's very quick. Yeah, so no, it's good fun. And then you're cruising in the Mustang. Just giving it that V8 sound with the extractors and a twin system and a sound from your old Mustang, your old classics, and the compliments you get when you stop and everyone talking to you about your old car and so on. So you get the different demographic of people, talking to you when you've got your old classic cars. But believe it or not, driving the old F100, the 76 model, that is my favourite car to drive. People talk to me all the time. They love it. Even young kids talk to me about it. The older people talk to me about it.
That's why.
Yeah, it's rough and ready. It's just been like spray can or painted with a spray can. It's black, matte black. But people love it. Yeah, so they always talk to you about it.
Yeah, it's. So something about an old, pickup truck that you always get a thumbs up in one of those. And
definitely, yeah. You see all the guys always, stopping a cool car. Yeah.
So you get more compliments in the truck than you get in the Mustang.
Than the Mustang.
There you
definitely.
Go.
Definitely.
So if you want looks, people get a truck. Don't get a Mustang.
Yeah.
If you've got any cool cars, send us a text on 04 7777 989 04 7777 989. Let us know what you're driving. We'll have a chat about it on here because we got plenty of time. Still only halfway through the show, so send us a text. We'll let you know what we think about the cars. I know I've got a fair few listeners out there that some have got WRXs. He's come on a few times, Alan. So give you a quick shout out. But so and now Harley, you've got the new Merc. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the new C-Class. Really cool car.
Yeah,
they got just the features in them I remember when I came over and saw the car for the first time. Had the heads-up display, had all these other cool little things. Yours came with the tech pack, right?
Yeah, it's got a vision package.
Vision pack, that's right.
So got full panoramic roof, the heads-up display, the full visor on headlights, some auto high beams, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty good.
Actually, good value. Sorry, compared to the Mustang.
Yeah,
and it's actually cheaper than the Mustang, believe it or not.
You're
the
kidding.
C200. Yes, it is.
There you go.
By a couple of $1,000. Well, that's if you get a good deal, that is. But it's got everything and then some compared to a Falcon or a Mustang. And I think Ford need to lift their game.
Yeah, there you go. It's been set forward. Get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Make it happen. We're going to go to a quick song. Got to go to another break, of course. You're right. Nothing to be sorry about. 98.9 Northwest FM. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J. Still in the studio with Harley and Rob. we're talking cars, obviously. We just talked about Rob's ridiculous car list he's had. And during the break, we're talking about Ford's going to sue us. But we're talking about, like, purchasing new cars and sometimes how, at the dealerships you can get not so ripped, but more stuffed around.
Sure can.
And, marketing in particular is a big factor, and then when they market for sales, like companies like the whatever finance rates they'll do, but only before the stock there. So if you want a new car, you have to wait for it. You're not going to get it.
Well, I did ask for 1% finance on my new Mustang, and they knocked me back. They sort of laughed at me. So I said, "Well, what's going on? You only put finance on the cars you can't move. It's not fair, is it?"
No, it's not. But it's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But it's not just Ford. All car companies do it.
For sure.
So it's we're not ever going Ford. We love Fords. You guys have Fords.
I've got a few of them. Unfortunately, I didn't think I was a Ford man until I counted all the Fords I've got.
Went through the list, you're like, bloody hell. So I should get rid of the damn things.
Yeah, 4 going on to 5.
There you go. But obviously you're a BM and Mercedes man as well. So you've had your fair share of those.
Definitely,
which is good. So we're talking about before the start of the show, restoration. So you guys are in the middle of doing another F100.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, for people like that, like looking to get into it, obviously, if they don't have deep pockets and they want to do it step by step, what would be the best ways of saying, okay, well, if I want to, well, depending on obviously what you're going to, if you're going to do a full rebuild or if you're going to just tidy it up.
That's probably the best thing. I mean, maybe start at tidying it up and doing just weekend projects and doing it up bit by bit. If you haven't got deep pockets, just stick to some of the basics, and you can put air cleaners on it. Just you can play around with the exhaust systems, cooling systems, and stuff like that. You can change your wheels and tyres and do a bit of interior stuff, and just slowly do it up. And one day, you might sort of have enough of it, and then take it off the road and do a full restoration. And we decided we bought this first F100 that we had, and we drove it around. It's got no power steering, no air conditioning. It's a manual, and some people don't like driving cars with no power steering, no autos. So rather than taking that one off the road for a year or so, and it's a fun car to drive as it is, we decided to find another body and work on that one. And luckily enough, we just went on Gumtree and various different websites, and we found basically a bare shell of an F100. We didn't want the engine and front suspension anyway, even though it did come with the front suspension, which I had to cut out. We started from that, and we're going to do that full restoration from start to finish with the chassis, do all the body work, redo the whole interior. Sure, yep. But it'll be off the road. It's already been 6 months. It's winter. It's cold. Yeah. Unless you've got a nice big warm garage.
Big heater.
I do have, but I've got other cars in there, unfortunately. So I'm sort of pressed for space at the moment. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. You need to have some space. Slowly build up your tools, and that way you can work on your cars yourself, and you'll save a lot of money tinkering with yourself on the cars yourself. You do your oil changes, your plugs and bits and pieces. Keep the car, all the lubrication up to it, and your car's going to last for a long time.
And that's a big thing. So just always keep on top of your. As long as you're doing basic oil change, it's very very important. Like you get people.
Yep.
That just don't service their cars, and then they wonder why they go wrong.
Exactly.
And they say, I can't believe that the car's brand new. Like my mum, she works in a mechanical workshop, as you guys know.
Yep.
And there was this new Hyundai i30. It got brought in, and never had an oil change. And and then they asked, your car's it's like a brand new car, but it's never had it's done 80,000 or whatever it was. And she's like, oh, you don't need to service new cars, do you? So that was
wow. That
was it's not a good look, but what can you do? It's always good to just to ask. Say you've got a car. Okay, how often do I need to do my maintenance?
And that's a good thing too. Like I don't know, but with my cars, especially with my Falcon, and some of the cars I really cherish, I'll change to oil between services as well. So it's always got fresh oil in it and the best oil I can afford.
Yeah.
And the cars have never gone wrong. If you keep the oil up to them, like I said, and all the other lubrication, check your coolants and also brake fluids. A lot of people sort of neglect your brake fluids, but you should actually change that, I suppose even every couple of years. Yeah. So, because it does build up with a lot of condensation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I know. Affect your braking performance, and you don't want that, especially in a performance car anyway, or
Exactly.
in any car really. Well, it's the time of the night for the quiz.
Oh no!
So you guys are teaming up for this one, which is pretty cool. I don't normally allow it, but because I do like you guys, I'll let you off with this one. But I'll start the quiz. Just give me a second. Let me get my stuff together. While I get my quiz for the week up.
Wait till I get Google up too.
Get Google up. Well, you got some time. But I'll have to get this happening. So there's no pen in the studio today.
Here's a pen here.
There's a pen there.
There you go.
Cool.
You need a notepad.
Yeah, I'll just use that. All right, so as I do every week, I've got to set the mood. So have the dramatic music in the background. There you go. All right. So, question 1: the current M3 6-cylinder is what size in displacement?
Good question. Is it 2.6?
I guess 3 litre.
3 litre? I thought it was 2.6.
What's your final answer?
3 litre.
3 litre? 3 litre. It is a 3 litre. So you got that one right. Question 2: the Sprint nameplate came out on what E-Series Falcon?
E.
They're pretty hard to find the old
Sprint?
Sprint.
Was it an EL?
ED, unfortunately.
ED?
ED. True or false? The XE Fairmont Gear ESP, which is the European
Yes.
Sportsback, which is a really cool car,
Yeah.
had a silver body stripe.
I can't recall. Silver, gold, black. Can't recall silver.
It's false?
False.
That's correct. It had like an orangey streak, orangey stripe around it. Question 3. A car released in 1986 was named the Hammer. Who made it?
General Motors.
No. AMG. AMG had it was based on it's a W20 something chassis, but yeah, it was something ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, it was quicker 80 to 120 miles per hour than a Lamborghini Countach. It was that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
there you go.
pretty crazy car. Question 4: the current Jeep SRT has what size engine?
6.4.
6.4 is correct. Question 5: after Brock split with Holden, he went to Ford. Aside from the Falcon, name one other Ford that he enhanced.
One other Ford that he enhanced.
Because he did the Brock Falcons, and he did 3 other cars that are from Ford.
Not a Cortina.
It'd be around the EA time. So I think the other cars are around that.
So what, an EB Falcon?
No, but besides the Falcon. So
okay. What was out at that time? Ford, geez. Wasn't much of a Ford nut back then, was I? Pass.
Pass. There was the Maverick. He touched Fairlanes and he did a few Telstars as well.
Okay, I know he done a Lada.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did too.
But it wasn't a Ford.
He must have got pretty desperate after doing that. Question 6: Chrysler's E49 Charger came with what engine?
E49 Chrysler. Wasn't a 289 or a 318.
It wasn't a 318. I'll give you one more chance. It was a 6-cylinder. Don't know. 265.
265. There you go. Wow.
True. Music's running out. We've got to just restart that. Question 7. True or false? Toyota's 1JZ is a 3 litre. Or 1JZ.
Or 1JZ. False.
False. Yeah, correct. It's a 2.5. The 2 JZs are 3 litre.
Used to work for Toyota, and yeah, they used to make a lot of small displacement cars.
That they did with high power outputs as well.
Yeah.
Question 8. The HSV GTSR came out on which model in the 90s?
90s VT?
Oh, VS.
VS?
Question 9. What is the engine code for a Subaru 22B? Which is you know what 22B is, like the most rarest of the STIs. Yeah,
I don't know the engine code. Sorry, man.
That's all good. EJ22.
It's an EJ22.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's 2.2 litre. That's what. Yeah. Question 10. Why was the 22B made by Subaru?
Why?
There was 2 reasons. If you get one, I'll give you the points.
For rally? Rally?
Yeah, I'll give that to you. It was made to commemorate Subaru's 40th anniversary, as well as their 3rd constructors championship in rally. Okay. So I'll give you that one. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10. Not bad.
Not good.
It's not bad.
Oh well, I need to brush up on my Chrysler cars. Even though I've had a few, Grand Cherokees and so on, but no old Valiants.
I've had worse, so it's not bad. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10 is not bad, and that was a hard quiz tonight. Actually, that wasn't probably.
I was going to ask you a question about Leyland P76. What size was the Leyland V8?
Well, you said a 4.4, didn't you? Good stuff. No, it's was that the only engine they came with? They were offered with?
They came out with a 6-cylinder sort of a small displacement 6, so like a little 2. I don't know exactly what size it was. So maybe a 2.6.
Okay, yeah. So something small. I was surprised it didn't come with like the Rover V8 as well.
No, it's actually the actual V8 block was based on the Buick casting.
Okay.
Yeah, so they got the rights to build it under the Buick license. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, that's a bit of trivia for me. I didn't know that one. So we got 10 minutes to go. It's 7:50. So if you want to SMS on 0447777989. That's 0447777989. We'll come back after this. That's right, 98.9 Northwest FM. You're back on CarTorque with Matty J, and still joined in the studio by Harley and Rob. So I posed a question to you guys during the break.
Sure did.
If money was no object, what car would you buy, and a realistic dream car as well?
Yeah, I was sort of thinking it'd be very hard. It's a tough choice. There's so many great cars out there. We're talking about Jags and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and all sorts of cars. Porsches. But I think maybe even a Ferrari. We always wanted one. I've never, driven one, and I've sat in them and so on. But maybe a Ferrari like a 458 or something like a Spider.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Something that might be attainable is maybe a C63 AMG maybe one day or something like that.
Yeah.
That's sort of almost there, but it's just
out of reach.
Just out of reach.
Yeah. Maybe sell both Mustangs to get one.
Maybe.
What about you, Harley?
So, I reckon SLS Mercedes from probably 2011, like a nice SLS Gullwing.
Black Series one would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice too. or probably just for a daily, more attainable, probably maybe just a CLA45 or something like that. Yeah. Nice little good runaround car.
Fast.
Yeah, fast.
Ridiculously quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, I like the CC. I'll pose you the question: the older naturally aspirated 6.2 or the new twin turbo V8?
I think the new turbo twin V8. Yeah, twin turbo V8. Yeah, definitely.
What do you reckon sounds better, the new one or?
I'm sure the old one, the naturally aspirated, does sound better, but turbos you can't beat them.
You can't beat them, yeah.
Can't beat them.
If you can't beat them, join them. I guess that's it. So you're chucking turbos on everything now.
Pretty much.
And they're so much easier to tune as well. Like it was a V8, you got to start doing cam work and stuff like that. Where a naturally aspirated car, you can do cam work like not just a V8's come turbo as we just said, but with a turbo car, you can usually just up the boost, give it a tune, and injectors and a fuel pump, and you're right to go. So
exactly, yeah.
It's just your car before the FG, the XS6 Turbo, you have 300 kilowatts at the wheels for just pretty much doing peanuts. So, and that's a scary prospect.
Definitely.
But it just shows how far cars have come. Cars have come a long way in terms of tuning them as well. You can just basic stuff to a modern car goes a long way. And most performance cars now are turbo anyway. You see your Beamers all coming turbo.
Turbos, even the C200 that Harley drives.
Yeah, it's a turbo.
Yeah, and you can chip those and get quite a bit of power out of them as well.
Yeah. So it doesn't take a lot to get the cars in general today going, really. So but yeah, so we've got a couple minutes to go. So next week we'll be talking about cars again. Obviously, that's what we talk about on this silly show. But thanks for coming in today, guys.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
No, I figure you guys come in again and do the quiz again. Hopefully, you can get better than 5.
Yeah, we'll try. We'll brush up on our car trivia.
Car trivia. So you have to brush up on that. But in the meantime, this has been Car Talk with Matty J. You're still sitting on 98.9 Northwest FM. But in the meantime, thanks again, guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.